Hello, my name is Jesse Hernandez. Born in Central Valley, California. I'm currently enrolled in a community college here as well. Growing up, I was born into a Hispanic household, and the community I'm surrounded in is pretty much that as well.
Hello, my name is Katie Escobar. I was born and raised in Honduras for about 14 years, and then I came to the U.S. Currently enrolled in community college as well, and I hope to transfer to a university. I guess one of my favorite novels that I like from the book is Living Our Tradition. I guess it's because I relate a lot to Olorismo, because my family is very united. I'm the oldest, so they're very protective, kind of like Lorena. And I think I was kind of like living like in a little bubble, just like her, until I went off to community college. I also relate to Manuel from The Decision because I was kind of like living in two worlds. One in my house, which they're very like Hispanic, very traditional, and then going to high school, it was like different.
Another aspect of the Between Two Worlds series that I like or really enjoyed were the novels and how realistic they were to the struggles and to the people that I've seen around me. Especially in novel one of this, The Decision, I feel like a lot of these issues I kind of personally went through, just watching my brother struggle with his path and trying to figure out on how to navigate his world. So maybe some of these novels, if they were presented earlier to students, would give them an insight on some of the struggles that they might encounter in their lives, such as him going to jail and not having support at home and trying to look for that support. Also in novel 2, I can relate just because I've seen a lot of girls in high school go through this issue that the character Lorena went through on getting with somebody and eventually having a child, that them not working out and eventually having to make a decision about the child. So I feel like if these novels were presented earlier to students and having them read them and given them insights to these real world problems, it just gives them an outlook and how to navigate these problems with the characters going through the issues themselves, and not having them go through the issues. Just having someone to learn from, pretty much.
Yeah, I think Jesse made a really good point. The Decision and More Than a Tradition make you reflect on making decisions, because I feel like as students or young people, we don't really think that our actions are going to have consequences in the future. But I feel like these two novels would be really good to reflect on that, because I have seen too, like especially my friend, that she gave it everything to a guy and they ended up not working out, and she started falling behind in life, which is really sad. But maybe because she didn't have the role model there for her. One thing I thought it was really cool from the book, it's the multiculturalism. I think that it's very inclusive. Por ejemplo, yo hablo español y me pareció muy interesante encontrar palabras en español en un libro que se supone que es en inglés. La verdad que me encantó. Me hizo conectarme más con el libro y siento que más a estudiantes que son de otros países se sentirían más conectados. Ya incluso la cultura, por ejemplo, en el libro de Lorena me parece interesante que es tan similar a los hispanos en la parte de la familia. They're very united as a family, which I thought it was interesting. I didn't know.
I agree, especially in novel one. But even in all the novels, it gives us an insight on how different cultures pretty much speak amongst themselves. It doesn't give us a whole paragraph on another language, but it does give us, like, for an example, I have a quote here. Te digo que no tenemos remedio, said Carlos.
One nice thing about the workbook is that we got to practice argumentation, and they even had a template, which was really nice. It gives you like a layout. For example, what's your moral reasoning, what's your stance on the argument, and I feel like that was really helpful because now we have, I feel like, poor examples of argumentation. People get very emotional or aggressive, and seeing that in how it's laid out in the workbook was really nice, and it was a really good example, good learning experience.
Yeah, just like she said, going through the Socratic method, it really gave us a chance to incorporate the argument levels that we learned. For example, being open-minded, going into not really an argument, but more of a conversation. The transcendent path of argumentation. On this one, I really enjoyed the open mind concept. It just basically explains that in an argument or conversation, we have to go into it with an open mind. This really helped me because sometimes I would, or used to, would go into a conversation with some preconceived notions about some information that I would get, or just I would have a closed mind to things just based on the way or some of the information that I've gained throughout the years. So this really helps me to basically close all borders up, and I have to go into a conversation with an open mind and get all information from all other parties. That way I can take those in and interpret them for myself. So this really did help me to throw those away and go into conversation with open mind.
For me, it was the section on independent thinking, just because I feel like I'm a very easily influenced person. It's just made me realize that maybe I should not follow blindly to whatever I'm reading or hearing. So it just made me kind of like just watch out to see if I'm thinking for myself or if I'm being influenced to think what they want me to think.
Lastly, I would like to talk about is in the workbook, it gives us a very detailed instruction on how to build an argument structure for an argumentative essay. Before getting into this or learning about this argument structure for an essay, before it would be really difficult for me to pretty much organize the essay, and this gives me a clear vision on how to do so, from going into the introduction, going into the body paragraphs, and also into the conclusion. It gives me an insight on the importance of building an argument with factual evidence and a very composed thoughts. Before this, my essays were very unorganized. It'd be difficult for me to create an argument and then present the other side. So this gave me a very detailed instruction on how to do so, and I feel that getting into this workbook, my essays have really evolved.
Yeah, say for me, honestly, before I know what an essay was supposed to look like, but I didn't know exactly why until reading the workbook. It gives you step by step, and it also gives you an explanation on why you're supposed to, for example, have a counter argument. I think that really helped me just to understand and get my writing better. I think honestly anybody, whether you're in middle school or high school or even in college, would help understand this and improve your essay writing.